Bob, have you seen the movie?
Yes.
How was it for you to watch your life?
Have you seen it?
I have. I loved it. I loved
We
it.
definitely did.
I liked it. I thought they did a great job. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's entertainment, so it's much different than the book. It's like apples and oranges, but I thought it was very entertaining.
But what we all thought of you is that you're a fantastic actor.
That Brian is.
No, you are.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Brian,
No,
of
I've told
course.
Brian.
Yeah.
It's a little harder when you have to do it for real, right?
Yeah.
And your life depends on
Right.
it.
Yeah,
So how was that?
You try not to act when you're working undercover. You try to be I try to be as much like this as I am. You know, I'm not big and loud, and I couldn't do that for 2 years and be convincing. So you really have to work inside your own skin when you create a new person. You know, Robert Musella was an Italian-American from the New York City area who had a business background and an accounting background and worked in a bank and worked in a brokerage firm, and all those things are true to me. Same age, same height. So I sometimes tell people that, because there's an undercover school that you go through to be get certified to do this type of work. And there's psychologists that are involved in that process, and I often get asked the question of, why do they have psychologists involved in it? And I tell them that it's to determine if you're adequately crazy enough to be able to do this kind of a job. But you really do need to. You go through a lot of. You're prepared for the normal reaction to an abnormal environment, and it's a very abnormal environment that you're involved in, and you do experience some change. Before I started doing undercover work, I was 6'2", blonde-haired and blue-eyed. That's a joke.
We watched this movie. Watching the movie for us, it's like 2 hours of feeling this tension that, for you, it's been a lifetime of that. How do you deal with it?
One of the things that's important for everybody to realize is that I'm just one of 100+ people who have done that type of work. There were 40 people in my undercover training school. And so, although the experience is unique and what happened once we got involved with the bad guys and stuff took us in a different route, there are a lot of public servants out there that do this type of work. So it's not really all that unique to me. I got the unique opportunity to tell the story because Brad fell in love with it, and Alan did a great job, and everybody else did a fantastic job putting the movie together. But you get trained to kind of have two brains at the same time when you're working undercover. There are times when I would be with people, and I was in a meeting one time and I was accused of being an undercover agent. How do you deal with that? They don't really generally train you how to deal with that, but you kind of suppress all of the my hair's on fire, and the one brain that doesn't come out and it gets suppressed, and the other one has to take on the air of this persona that now completely different, and you have to really act that way and not act like an agent, and it's a difficult thing. I was an agent for 14 years before I did the undercover work, so it's pretty easy to try to slip back into acting like an agent and not acting like the bad guy that you're supposed to be. But I had a lot of great trainers. I was really blessed in my career. I had great management that gave me the opportunity to really take my time to put this identity together, and a great partner. And I don't know how many of you guys probably aren't Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, but I liken it to the Super Bowl champion 2002 Bucs. They had an okay quarterback and a great team around them. I was an okay lead undercover, I think, and I had a great team around me, and I really got the benefit of that quite a bit.
Do you have like a happy place or like some sort of process that you had in your head when you were in like the most complicated time, like to just calm yourself and just be in the moment?
Yeah, they train you to, when you're in training, they try to help you to understand the kind of stress that you're going to wind up going through, and so, eating right, and getting enough sleep, and all those things that you know you're supposed to do that you don't do. And so that helps some. But you know, for me, it's taken me the experience of writing this book to really learn this. But for me, what really drove me, my heroine was getting new information, and that's what really kept me alive and going after thing after thing after thing, and gave me the energy that I guess that I had. But just like any other drug, if you get too much of it, it's not a good thing. And so the last 4 or 5 months of the operation now, I probably realized that I was so intent on trying to get more information that I probably took a few more risks than maybe that I needed to. But it was the information that drove me more than anything else.
You also had to drink a lot with the guys. I mean,
Well, and other things.
Excuse me, what do you mean the other?
Well, no spoilers. So there were, you had to be amongst the family as the family did.
You know, I built into that an angle that I think helped me to deflect a lot of what public may perceive was, well, you're an undercover agency, you've got to do what the bad guys tell you to do. And that's not the case. I mean, that's actually a sign of weakness. I played the role of a money launderer for a mythical mob. I had 2 informants within one of the 5 crime families in New York who were real mobsters. And they gave me a lot of street credibility. And when I dealt with the Colombian cartels, and they wanted me to do things that I didn't want to do, my easy comeback was, I work for my family. You're the cherry on top of the cake. I've been given the authorization to check the Latin American markets to see how much we can make, but I cannot ruin what I'm doing with my family. And if they see that I take risks and I can't control myself, I'm going to be killed. So you're going to have to do it my way, or we're just not going to do it. And I can't do that. And I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. And that was accepted and was respected.
How was it for you to get this story out there? The book came out in around 2009. Now with the film, how is it for you? I mean, why did you want to tell it? And how is it for you to live with it every day, knowing that it is out there? It's an incredible story, but it's also your life. You know?
Yeah, well, I keep going back to a team's life, but I think that I've always perceived being a public servant just that. I serve you, you paid my salary. This is an important story. More important than me. My name doesn't mean anything, my face doesn't mean anything. The facts of what I saw is what counts. What it's like within the cartel, as a money launderer, what it's like dealing with the corrupt aspects of the international banking and business community, is something that I think the public needs to know exists and how and why it exists. And for me, that became something important that I wanted to share, and it kind of carried the rest of the day.
Right before the closing credits, we see what happened to all the guys. Most of them got 12 years. They've passed by now. So they're out and looking
Some
for
are out,
you.
some are dead, some are moved on to new things. And,
are
But
they
they're
looking?
still not happy, probably, with you.
I think that would be speculation on everybody's part. So, all I know is we have a burning desire to let the story be told, and where that takes things and where that takes life.
Are you armed when you go out?
Actually, retired federal agents under a statute are authorized to carry firearms anywhere in the country. So, but I don't talk about security or those issues, and I don't think they're important. I mean, they're important to me, but I don't want to distract away from this here. So, and they're private stuff. So.
In terms of the pacing, it was excellent. So many, biopics or so many films are just too rushed or too slow. I felt the pacing was excellent. Were there times when you felt like you had to speed something up or change it? I mean, it was just, to me, it was perfect.
Well, that credit goes to Brad. Totally.
Yeah.
We worked tirelessly in the edit to, hopefully create an experience for the audience that hooks you. I always think of like a great roller coaster ride. You get on and it grabs you right away and doesn't let you go until the ride's done. And in theory, that was the goal. To hear you say that, I'm deeply appreciative, because that was that was where we were at as far as wanting to make decisions in every aspect of the frame and the layers of it that go into making a movie that felt purposeful. Whether that's the music that's driving you, whether it's the emotional core that's driving you, whether it's the conflict that's driving you, whether it's the subconscious of the imagery, whether it's the editorial. I mean, obviously all of these things impact the final product. But that concept of having it feel purposeful, that you are being led through something. And I credit a lot of that also to David Rosenblum. Just a brilliant editor that challenged me every step of the way. And we banged heads a lot, but out of that came a lot of really exciting new choices and changes. And it was a wonderful, proud learning experience, hopefully for both of us.
I think you really want to see what it would feel like to be someone like Bob, undercover with a little suitcase and you know, with a recorder trying to get these people and get them on tape. So to that extent, to show that journey so that you're feeling emotionally involved as an audience participant to what he was experiencing was a goal that we were trying to reach.
How was it to work together?
With Brad? How lucky am I, right?
I think, I stated this earlier, you know, uniquely challenging with respect to, you know, as I've tried to explain to people, and I don't have this perspective, but my mom she can't turn off the mom hat. She's always going to be my mom, even if I look at it like we're having this professional conversation, and she's the screenwriter and I'm the director, but in her head and her heart, she's still my mom. So there were times that I would be like,
Oh, well.
You're the screenwriter. I would literally say, you're the screenwriter, you're not my mom. And that was really tough and rough for both of us. And for the most part, I think there are only two instances that I just almost turned upside down. One was the three of us. We were developing the script, and my mom, I think it's a great thing, actually, and it's a good story. It's worthy of the education of it. She had written something that she deeply believed in, and that's what you want from any collaborator that you're with, that they've created something that they're like, this is awesome. If they're not saying that, then what are you working off of? So Bob and I came in and we really tore it to shreds, and I think it was very difficult for her. And I just wanted her, and I think it was delusional on my part, I just wanted her to sit there, you know, not say anything, and just, you know, do your job. And she was very combative in a positive way of defending what she had done. And, you know, there's no question there was a learning curve of like, okay, you know what, I have to be respectful of the fact that she slaved over this, that she killed herself to create this, and even though Bob and I disagree, there's a much healthier way to approach this and be sensitive to the fact that we are changing something she believes in, and you know, she is also my mom, which I have to keep perspective of. So that was an interesting turning point. But I like to think sometimes those things are good that they happen if you learn from them, if you change, you know, the way you all interact together to grow. I mean, there's no question. I think our relationships in general are defined by you know, what you ultimately go through, good and bad. Those are the real relationships. If something bad happens in a relationship and then you never talk again, well, what kind of relationship did you ultimately really have? So I think the challenges and the negatives that we traversed through were defining of where we ended up, which is hopefully positive. We feel that way. I'm sitting here, and I'm proud to have them both side by side with me.
I mean, when would I ever have an opportunity to be with a director and defend my position? I mean, I'd be kicked off the set. You know, they'd have 10 writers ahead of me after me. But
Yeah, that's
Brad protected me and believed in me, which makes me feel very good. It also makes me want to cry sometimes. I think about how he protected me with this and believed in the writing.
What was the greatest challenge for you?
Sadly, just having to get into production too quickly and too soon, and I think the preparation is the foundation for everything you ultimately go do. I was set to make another movie, and for a multitude of reasons it didn't happen, and Miriam Siegel did a wonderful job of mounting this very quickly. And it's so hard to get movies made in Hollywood today. I mean, unless you are Inarritu, you know, or Scorsese, and even for those guys it's challenging, but they're making what they want to make, and they're making them how they want to make them. And I'm constantly in a position where I'm having to play a few sides against the middle and pursue multiple projects, and I don't think it's the ideal way to work. I think we're at our best when we're doing one thing and we're doing one thing well. So in an ideal world, which is not one we live in, we would have just simply been working just on the Infiltrator, but we weren't. I was working on something else, and when the script was written, I was off on another movie. By the time this came together, I don't think we had really fully unified. We had done a nice second draft that Bob and I felt had moved the ball in the right direction, and then she began to embrace. So we all felt we were in a positive place. That was the script that Brian signed on to, the second draft. I mean, for her, because she had prior workings with the producer, it was like the 10th draft, but I was not involved in that, so for me it was draft 2. So that was very difficult for her. But I think it was just all of a sudden we're making a movie, and I'm like, I don't think the script's ready. And that was daunting. The pressure of the limited amount of time, the pressure of all of Brian's notes coming in, the pressure of how daunting, sort of Everest was to climb with everything. But, you don't get to go into a movie and make excuses prior to the lights going down. That's not how this works. You play your movie and nobody cares about the rest of it. So, it's interesting to speak of and maybe educate others on, but, none of that matters. You lose, you win, you win.
You won.
Won,
You're trying,
yes.
thank you.